So would you please welcome Heike Fricke to talk about another generation's music technology after you.
Yeah. Thank you. Bonjour, hello. Yeah, thank you. No? Yeah. Since 2018, an interdisciplinary team of scientists and researchers at the Musikinstrumentenmuseum der Universität Leipzig has been working on the digitization of piano rolls. Funded by the German Federal Ministry of Education and Research, the project Tasten digitized keyboard instruments as well as piano rolls. A piano roll is a historic music storage media coding movement impulses through holes punched into the paper. When played, this code is used by a pneumatic system to create the sounds at runtime. For musicologists, such piano rolls are of high value. Firstly, they are the only sources of musical performances of famous pianists in times prior to sound recording technologies. Secondly, they offer a rich repository for researchers into the music-making practice and musical interpretation at the beginning of the 20th century, because they store the finger movements of pianists using a pioneering recording system established around 1900. They are important and hitherto unexplored sources for the musical practice of their time. Tasten, which focused on the digitization, documentation, metadata survey, and virtual availability of museum objects, is now followed by the DISKOS project, which aims to develop the digitized objects by asking further research questions. 2,400 piano rolls have already been digitized at the Musikinstrumentenmuseum der Universität Leipzig. To answer our research questions, they are now joined by their technical predecessors, which are cardboard and metal discs. The project is also funded by the German Federal Ministry of Education and Research with 900,025 euros. Basically, all sound information carriers store coded movement impulses that are transferred to musical instruments with a control interface. A condition for the quantitative analysis of the entire range of digitization formats and data visualization is the conversion of piano rolls, cardboard and metal discs into a common format that serves as a bridge to all sides. As a prototype, we choose the MIDI standard for this purpose. With this standard developed, it will be possible to access and compare printed music, musical storage media, and audio recordings using distant reading methods. So let's dive into the DISKOS project. Music comes in very different formats. For example, as an audio recording, as a musical text, or as a performance. This example concerning the Beatles song Yesterday illustrates that while each of these formats reproduces the same work, its representations are by no means the same. Due to the disparity of their formats, Analogue musicology has not yet succeeded in bringing these three types of sources together in a comparable, comprehensible, or even automated manner. At the Research Center Digital Organology, we think that computer musicology, on the other hand, succeeds in this direct comparison and analysis by converting these different formats into one common exchange format. Prototypically, we have already succeeded in converting data into a common standard. The piano rolls and discs are available as scans. In order to support our research questions, the inherent interpretation code must also be extracted in a machine-readable way and brought into a common format. For this purpose, the MIDI standard is to be extended. Furthermore, procedures have been developed to convert the image material into the extended MIDI format. So, from whole code to MIDI. While prior projects of other parties show great first results in digitizing piano rolls, processes capable of dealing with multiple formats of piano rolls and plates in general are missing. The digitization of cardboard and metal discs has not been done anywhere so far. So the DISKOS project also breaks new ground with the development of a distant reading tool for the analysis of different source formats by means of an exchange format for multimodal sources. Also, philological questions, e.g. of stylometry, have not yet been applied to musical interpretation. So the DISKOS project generates text-based, number-based, visual and auditory research data, which is organized in the MusicExplorer, the data repository developed in the research center at the Musikinstrumentenmuseum. So what are the working steps in DISKOS? A prerequisite for the desired virtual interoperability of previously uncomparable media formats is the indexing, documentation, and digitization of 99 cardboard and 438 metal discs. So first, metadata like title, composer, trademarks, makers, and more was extracted to be included into the MusicExplorer. Of course, it is also necessary to identify the different types of media as well as the design principle of the automaton for which they are intended. Under the heading Punching Disc, we offer a page where you can find the different formats with their properties. It offers information concerning weight, measurements. No, that is not the right thing. No. It offers information concerning weight, measurements, format, proportions of the holes, number of tracks, distances between tracks, etc., so that you can get an overview about more than 25 different formats of metal and cardboard discs in our collection. The compass of each automaton has been documented as well as the notes that will be operated by the holes in each track. This annotation of notes and MIDI note numbers to tracks is a prerequisite for the transformation of an image scan into a MIDI file, as you will see in a while. First of all, audio recordings. The punch discs in our collection contain 537 musical titles that are currently digitized with an audio recording of the analog music automaton, provided that the mechanism is preserved and functional. If a mechanism has survived only in fragments, is inoperable or even lost, a sound recording cannot be made. For this reason, all 537 metal and cardboard discs are also to be optically digitized with a 2D photo. Their control information can then be converted from a machine-readable whole code into a MIDI format and oralized with variable sound generators. The prerequisite for this is the digitization of the sound generators of these music automatons. These are individual recordings of functioning or emulation of damaged oscillators like string, free reeds, and comb teeth. Photography. In order to present metal and cardboard discs readable for visitors of our website as well as for the computer, we produce two types of photos. The human being wants to read the printed information on the disk, whereas the computer needs backlit images to identify the holes. The workstation to do the photographies has been developed and built by the team. So, from image to MIDI. The goal of the pipeline developed in the project is to output a standard MIDI file from the photographies with little to no user interaction required in processing. The pre-processing of the backlit images starts with the binarization and edge detection of the holes. The actual process labels connected components, these are musical notes, on the image and applies filtering to keep only the components representing notes. Calculating the distance from each hole to the edge of the medium and using existing tools like mean shift clustering, each note can be assigned to its respective track. We finally apply corrections to account for empty tracks and distortions and calculate the position and width of each hole. Combining this information with the already mentioned mapping of tracks to MIDI notes, we can then generate a MIDI file accurately representing the information on the medium. The pipeline outputs a standardized MIDI file. So, how to find digitized files in our Music Explorer or on our website? I want to describe this. Let us start with the automaton, in this example, an Ariston organet. Among other information about the instrument, the associated convolute is displayed. If you click on convolute, you will get a list of the cardboard discs that came with the Ariston. If you choose a disc, you will find an entry for this object in the category, how do you say it? Category objects, and a list of digital files obtained from the disk. Opposite to the disk itself, these data are intangible and therefore to be found in the category dictionaries. If you choose PP for Pappplatte, which is cardboard disk, you will get an entry concerning the metadata about the written work on a sound information carrier. So, everything that is printed or written on the cardboard disc. The entry provides information what media is related to the disc. So, an audio, an oralization, a photography, and a MIDI file. If you choose photo, this will lead you to the photo page. If you choose MIDI there, this will lead you to the MIDI page, where you can listen to the MIDI file. I hope this works. So this very cardboard disc was not in a playing condition, and we could not do an audio recording. So we used the MIDI file and the recording of the reed pipes of the ariston in order to create an oralization. So this was not a recording, it is an oralization that Dominik Ukolov made. So, an exceptional situation is provided by automatons that can be placed in front of any piano in order to operate the keys. Like this so-called Klavierspielapparat. It can be linked to an electric MIDI piano and produce a MIDI file without the detour of photographing and processing. So in allusion to a dramatic effect in the Baroque opera, we call this MIDI file the MIDI ex machina. It is an aim of the project to develop computer-based methods to recognize patterns in musical processes, to develop quantitative and qualitative analytical approaches based on the MIDI files created. In this context, the digitization and conversion of cardboard records, especially the ariston discs, take on particular importance, which, due to their brevity and small number of tones, seem suitable to be at the beginning of this method development. So we put some basic questions to our repository of cardboard discs and developed some visualizations to open them up in terms of content. A first access deals with statistical observations that can be done by the computer. How often does a certain note occur in the Lorelei? Most often is the note E played, followed by C sharp and A. A better overview is given if the octave positions of the tones are filtered out. Second question to Lorelei: which sounds are statistically the longest? Again, these are the notes of the A major chord. This stream graph shows how often a note occurs in a particular section of the work. We are eager to find out if the produced patterns, fingerprints, can be used to characterize an individual piece in order to compare it to other compositions. This visualization allows a quick overview of the structure of the piece through the annotation of chords. And we also wanted to know which keys are used in which frequency in the ariston convolute of cardboard discs. As you can see, most of the music is in A major, which seems to be the key that best fits the tone set of the ariston. We would like to use visualization of the recognized patterns to answer further questions. So, for example, can we identify the titles and performers of unlabeled piano rolls in our collection based on the pattern recognition we have developed? Can we identify unplayable passages for which a pianist would have needed more than 10 fingers or more than 2 hands, for example? Can we determine whether composers really played their works themselves or a stunt pianist, as has been handed down in the case of Maurice Ravel? Can we literally gauge whether a pianist imitates the playing technique of a model, and are the pianists playing what is written down in the score at all? So we have to find out, and I will keep you posted. Thank you very much for listening.
Sure. Are there any questions at all? Any questions at all?
Well, I'm glad I made it so clear. Yeah, he had a stunt pianist. He went to London with his pianist to record on piano rolls, and he wrote this down, and we know the name of the pianist. Don't have it in my mind. I can look it up in my computer later. No, not someone well known. Just because Ravel was not, he was a composer, but he was not fond of his own playing, which is interesting. And I have a lot of very interesting sources of pianists. Yeah, I should have brought this, but it would have been so much information. So pianists are welcoming this new method of recording them. And for example, Harold Bauer, the pianist, he said, it's not a concert only, it's my concept of playing, because you, of course, if you can change the tone holds, you can close them if you think they are, if you have a wrong note. If you play the wrong note, you just close the tone hole. And you can play with time and ritardando and accelerando. You can do this on the medium. You don't have to do it yourself. So he said, it's not recording of my playing, it's my concept. It's my concept of the piece that I give. And he was really proud of that and very interested in doing that. And it's a total new point of view, I think.
Fantastic. Any other questions at all?
Yeah. Are the MIDI files available? Hi, here. Are they available for download, or can they only
Sure,
be?
sure.
Yeah, it's not just streaming. Okay.
It's all on our website. So we are in the middle of our project, and it will be online at the end of the project, but some are already in.
Hi, I'm just wondering if there's been any interest in using the technology in reverse to maybe play new compositions with historic instruments.
Yes, there are composers doing this, especially in Leipzig, and I think of Nencaro. He was using the technique to do incredible things with the piano rolls, because he is kind of experimenting with time also, and possibility of unplayable things and very, very correct timing, what a human being can't do, but what a machine can do. So yes, there are examples.
Hi, this is so fascinating. Thank you so much. With regard to your first resource question on your last slide for identifying unlabeled pianola rolls, do you already have an idea about how you would go about doing that? Do you have software? I don't know if that's...
Yeah, we are developing software. We are feeding the computer, and so we started with the cardboard discs, because they have such a small length and not so many notes, so that the computer and we can get closer to these research questions. Pattern recognition needs a lot of input for the computer, so we started slowly and try to feed the computer as much as we can. And so he should learn, or the machine should learn, to compare.
Yeah, I have a question here. as part of this project, are you documenting any sort of materials from earlier compositions? You mentioned Nancaro, and what came to mind for me was also George Antile and Ballet Mécanique. And are you looking for or documenting any piano rolls from compositions?
Yes, we have this Heise piano rolls we have in our collection. Yeah. So yes, we have 3,200 piano rolls in our collection. Among them are piano rolls made by composers, not played into the with the original recording system, but punched into the paper. We have this, but this is only a small part. Most we have Edward Grieg playing his own works, pupils of Liszt playing Liszt's works. So other very interesting things concerning the music history of the end of late 19th century. But we also have early jazz, and go to our website, find out. It's a lot.
Hi, thank you for your talk. I'm curious to know how you deal with piano rolls that have notations that are not necessarily punched into the paper, like the wavy lines that indicate tempo or dynamics. Yeah. How do you digitize those?
Yeah, that is why we called our MIDI standard extended MIDI, because we have to bring these annotations, which are on the piano rolls. We have to bring them in. But to be honest, I don't think that we are going to do this during the time we have, because the project runs until December 2023. And to do 2,400 MIDI files, it will cost us some time. And we have the plan to do the extended MIDI file, but only prototypically. We can't do it for because this needs human eyes.
Any other questions at all? Thank you so much.
You're welcome.